Okay everyone, first of all, apologies for the state of the lawn. I need to cut it, but I've got some feed and weed on, so that's why it looks like it does at the moment. Here we have fully pitched the Naturehike Spire or pyramid, and as you can possibly see by the skies, there's some bad weather forecast. We've had some storms over the past few days, and I've never had this up in the rain, just on the wildcamp on one of my latest videos, link above. So I want to see how it fares in some bad weather. So I've pitched it. I've got it quite high at the moment. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap between the fly and the base of the lawn there. So it's got a healthy bathtub on the inner, so I don't think that will have too much of an issue. It's about 135 centimetres how I've pitched this at the moment, but of course I can take it down, just lower the pole down and lower that fly. But I think for summer it allows good airflow under the base of the fly sheet. So what I'm going to do is leave it up. It's just starting to spit, and when it starts chucking it down, I'm going to go and get inside the tent, and we'll see how it fares in the bad weather. First test, the rain test. I'm just going to get one more peg because I've forgotten to do the back guy line, and we'll have a look inside. People have reported some negatives saying that the inner's really saggy. Well, I don't find that to be the case, and you'll see in a minute. So less talking, let's actually have a look ourselves. I'll go and get that last peg and then we'll get in. This is the tent fully guyed out. I would always do this, to be fair, because you don't know what the weather's going to do halfway through the night when you're camping. So it looks like there's a bit of a breeze today and there's no movement whatsoever. There's only the one entrance. You get these two half moon crescent shaped vents on the roof. There's a bit of a tab just below that, which just keeps it rigid and makes sure that the air can flow. And of course the fly sheet, as I say, 135 centimetres trekking pole. There's a bit of a gap there. So one thing I like to see on this tent is a two-way zipper. This only zips from the base, from the bottom, and I like to be able to maybe vent the fly from the top, especially if you're cooking in the porch, just to allow your steam to escape. But we've got these Velcro tabs, just 1 and 2, and this bit of a cover just over the zip, just to keep the worst of the elements at bay. I'm not sure how effective that'll be. It's quite loose, and if there's driving rain coming in from that side, I don't think it would particularly prevent water from going over the zip, but we shall see. So if we give it a quick unzip, these doors can roll out the way. You've got a loop and a toggle, and we'll just do that now for ease, just as we're demonstrating it. So that's the door rolled out the way. You can do that with the other one as well, so you can have that whole of the tent open in good weather. So when you buy it, you can purchase the mat ground sheet. You've got your inner tent. It uses a single trekking pole. There's a loop down here, which I've just placed the trekking pole over, and just by the force of the pole being extended, pulling down on the top of the fly sheet, that holds it in place. You can of course pass the loop through the base of your pole. I've seen other people do it the other way around, but I've left the rubber end cap on the trekking pole. I just prefer to do it this way because I think there's less danger of that handle damaging the ground sheet. So, it's quite a healthy porch. I'm 6 foot tall. Those of you that watch the channel will know. I can quite happily sit up in here just about when it's zipped up. Cooking, you could of course roll the inner back out of the way, just unclip the sides and make a little bit more room for yourself, and then when you're done, obviously if it's bad weather, you can just move the inner back out. So what have we got in terms of entrances? We've got a handy little half moon shaped entrance here. When I say entrance, that is just for getting your things. You imagine you're in Scotland in the summer, it's a swarm of midges, and you just want to access something which is in the porch area, the tent. Instead of just climbing out the whole thing, all you need to do is unzip that. You can't do it with one hand. Reach out and quickly zip it back up. So that's a handy little feature. Items that you want ready access to, just have them here. So I think that's good. You can see there's quite a healthy, I don't know, it's about 7-8 centimetres of bathtub for this inner material here. I'll put all the specs in terms of hydrostatic head below, but to get into the main part of the tent, we have got 2 zippers on this one, and it's just a bit of an L or a J-shaped door, and the rain just started, so what better time to undo this, and we'll get back in. I'll get it shut up and I'll bring you back. Excuse the mic clip, I look like a bit of a tramp today, to be fair. I need to have a trim of the beard and freshen myself up, but that's irrelevant to this video. So I'm sat inside the porch. You know, if I position myself near to the centre pole, I can sit up. I've still got a bit of clearance, which is important. So it's reasonably comfortable. You know, some people don't like sitting up. I don't mind it, to be fair, reasonably flexible. So I can sit quite happily. I could cook carefully. Like I say, if we had a zip up here, we could maybe undo that just for venting of any steam whilst we're cooking in the inner. That would be great. But it's quite a roomy sized porch area because of the design of the inner. You know, it protrudes higher on one side, so you've got a bit of a rectangle and then a bit of a triangle added onto it there. So the inner, there's a hook right at the top, and it's the same sort of guide tensioner just there. You just pull that and that puts some tension on this inner. People in other reviews I've seen remark that this sags. Well, it's clearly not doing that, and the trekking pole is just a little bit further, 135, and it seems to be fine with not too much of a gap around the outside, so I'm happy with that. You know, quite versatile. The 2 zips, nice bug mesh. There's no sag in there at all, to be fair. So let's just get in and I'll show you me lying down at 182 centimetres, and you decide whether you think it's big enough. If I lie down now, in this bit, I've got a bit of the mesh just sort of coming down on my face there. Now, to be fair, I'm a side sleeper, so that wouldn't bother me too much at all. I sleep on my side and I've not got a problem with that mesh touching my head. Some people might not like that, but personally that wouldn't bother me at all. One way to get around that is, like I say, if you imagine this section's a big rectangle, well, then you've got this which goes towards one corner of the tent. You could just sleep at an angle, put your mat down this way, and sleep with your head up this end. That does not bother me. Like I say, other people might think otherwise, but that's absolutely fine. In terms of sitting up, again, just touching some of the top fabric. You know, it's not the world's biggest tent, but for one night wild camping, considering it's a really lightweight package, you know, with a single trekking pole design, I think it's absolutely spot on. The seams are taped. Got tape seams on this bathtub floor. You've got one pocket there, a bit stingy on the pockets, but again, it's lightweight. One bit of a pocket. I've seen mods where someone has put a bit of an elastic on the other side of this, you know, put a bit of a ball or a marble there, or a bead, then tied it from the outside, pull this out, and then take that to one of the pegs. That's something I'll possibly do, or if I can get another guy out point to attach on here, I'll do it on the outside and just modify it. But, you know, for me, used to lugging 16-17 kilo rucksacks up mountains and wherever I'm going wild camping, this is very, very lightweight. Now, the only other lightweight tent I own is a Van Gogh Helium 100 SL, the super light version, and I can't sit up. It's very claustrophobic, and once you're in, you're in. There's not much scope for doing anything else. Now, just on cooking on the inside, if you open that sort of inner vent, you could have your stove out there. You could be sitting in the inner where I am, but you know, you've got your hands to cook and operate your stove. You've got a good bit of clearance between the top of the tent, and you know, that's another sort of way that you could cook and just expand the use of the room inside this tent. Another way of looking at it, really. So other than this rain test, I think I've shown you everything about it. I like it. It's reasonably well made. It's clearly not the same quality as a Hilleberg, but you know, it's not the same price as a Hilleberg, so lightweight option. Get yourself on a wild camp. Let's see how it performs in the wet weather. Let's leave it up. I'll leave it up overnight because there's rain forecast for the rest of the day and throughout the night, and we'll come and have a little look tomorrow and we'll see if there's any water ingress. But I like it. I'll reserve my final judgment until it's done the rain test. That's the inner door rolled away. Nice, usable porch area with decent clearance, decent for cooking, getting ready, getting your wet gear off, putting your dry gear on, and then getting into this inner. In terms of pitching, it's really easy. 3 packages, the outer, the inner and the ground sheet. First of all, simply lay the ground sheet out. It's a perfect square. Go out all the corners. Next, attach the inner, again using the same pegs which you've used in the corners of your ground sheet. Finally, lay the fly sheet out again using all 4 corner pegs and set your trekking pole to the desired length inside the tent, attach it and give it the required tension. It is that simple. Right, morning everyone. It's the next day. The tent's been set up and left overnight and there's been prolonged heavy rain throughout the night. So we're going to go straight out now. It's not rehearsed. I'm going to have a look in. If it's wet, it's leaked. If it's not, it's passed the waterproof test. So let's go and have a look. So the grass is soaking. It's been chucking it down all night. See the fly sheet, it's got lots of beading on there. This flap's come up a bit, and a bit of rain, a bit of wind. Just be careful when I'm doing this because I don't want the drips to give the illusion that it's leaked. Well, first things first, this ground sheet in the porch, it's totally dry. So it's clear that there's no leaks from this area. There's a couple of drops there, but that is just because I've got the fly sheet so high. Now if I lowered the central pole, these sides would come down towards the base of the ground and that wouldn't happen. So there's no failures this part of the tent. Have a little look in the sleeping area. And that's absolutely bone dry. No leaks, no drips, nothing at all. And that was prolonged heavy rain throughout the evening. So I'm happy with that. The inner hasn't sagged down. Like I say, the pull cord there. The tent has passed the waterproof test with flying colours. All that's left to do now is recap. I'll tell you what I like about it and tell you what I think needs improving. But I'm pleased with that, cracking. Can't wait to get out on a proper wild camp in some decent conditions in it. Let's wrap this one up with a conclusion. Right, so we'll wrap up this short-term review. Cons, we're going to start off with them so far. What I don't like are the colours, this bright garish orange. It doesn't particularly blend in well on a hillside. It's not an inconspicuous tent by any means, and some say it can be seen by the ISS from space, so there you go. So that's one drawback. The only colour that it's available in addition to this is white. Likewise, unless you're camping in the snow, it's not particularly blending in. There's nothing stealthy about this tent. The only other things as well, the dimensions, it's 210 by 210 centimeters. That is the dimensions of the mat, the footprint. So that is the footprint of the tent. So if you use that as a rough guide, you lose a little bit slightly when the inner's set up. I'm 6 foot tall, 182 centimeters, and I would say it's about the limit for me. My feet touch the side, but that doesn't affect the night's sleep I'm going to have, certainly for one night. So I'm quite happy to put up with that in terms of the trade-off for the lightweight. At 1600 grams or 1.6 kilos, it's obviously not the lightest weight tent out there. However, the materials are good. It's silnylon, siliconized nylon. Hydrostatic head rating on the fly is 4,000 millimeters, whereas it's 3,000 on the inner. And you've got that nice bathtub floor as well with the tape seam, so there's no issues in terms of waterproofness or durability of that material. There's lots of guy out points, so I've got no reason to believe it'll be anything other than stable in moderate winds. There's lots of anchor points as well, so that's pretty good. The tent pegs that come with it, you might want to swap them out for something a bit more robust, a bit more sturdy. Certainly if you're camping in snow or anything like that, or wet ground, those ground anchors wouldn't go amiss. The guy runners, I didn't have any problems with slipping, but I've seen other people say that they do slip on occasion. A lot of people swap them out for something lighter and more robust and durable in any event, so that's up to you. But the ones that come with it worked absolutely fine for me. I've seen other people say the inner slips down as well on the guy runner at the top of the tent. That didn't happen to me, and it just stayed put and stayed solid. Another positive is the porch area. You've seen that when we demonstrated the inside of the tent, and especially that half moon shaped door within the inner tent just to get access to the porch. That's great, very handy for cooking in, for getting things, and not having to get all the way outside of the inner into the porch to get something maybe out your pack, or like I say, cooking. Another negative, I would like to see double zippers, that you can operate from the top as well as the bottom, just to aid with venting in terms of cooking inside the porch. But it's not an absolute deal breaker for me. What I particularly like about it is it's really small, lightweight, compact package. And that's me. I'm not an ultralight wild camper, and I never will be. But this, certainly if you do away with the mat, you're going to save yourself even more weight. So at 1.6 kilos, for me, that is extremely lightweight, and the packages are really compact. Arguably you could get them even smaller if you put these into stuff sacks or compression bags, so you could make that even smaller again. So I like that it's compact. I like that it utilises a single trekking pole to get it erected. One of the other maybe drawbacks as well is the inner, in terms of it being pretty much, it's all mesh. So that may potentially rule out winter use for some people in terms of cold drafts working their way underneath that fly and then into the inner. You've got nothing keeping those drafts at bay when you're inside. For me, that really wouldn't bother me because I'll have lots of warm layers on anyway. I'll probably be in my sleeping bag if it was cold, but it's going to be a lot colder inside that inner during the cooler temperatures and cooler times of the year. The roof vents were fine when I stayed in it. It was particularly still night, and I didn't suffer from any condensation whatsoever. There was no condensation inside the tent. Probably aided as well by the gap between the fly and the floor. And don't forget that you can vary that depending on what height you've got your trekking pole set to. I found that anywhere from 125 to 135 centimetres works absolutely fine, but there's no prescribed length. Just go out there and bit of trial and error, and depending on what terrain you're on as well. If you're on a bit more spongy ground, you're going to have to play around with the length of that pole just to get the fly to suit your correct length. So yeah, I like it. I think it's pretty good value. The drawbacks I've mentioned. I'll put the pros and cons list again in the description box below this video. But thanks for watching. If you've got any additional questions about the Naturehike Spire, please do let me know. I'll leave a link below as well, just in case you want to purchase it. And like I say, if you think I've forgotten anything or you've got any additional questions, if you just drop me that in the comments, I'll respond to every single one if I can answer it. So thanks for your time in watching this. I hope you've at least found it some way useful if you're considering this small, compact, lightweight, wild camping tent, and you know, you won't go far wrong with this. It's budget friendly, lightweight, and it's pretty durable as well. So thanks for watching. Go and enjoy the great outdoors. If you found it useful, please do give it a quick thumbs up. It helps me out and I would appreciate that. And I will see you on the next video. Right, take care.